को भी दिया जाए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji to reply the discussion.
Thank you very much, sir. After the introduction of the bill, I understand about 27 honourable members have spoken on the subject. While just giving a broad introduction to what this exercise is about, I'll move to respond to many of the questions which honourable members have raised. So the Central Excise, actually Central Excise Act of 1944 has a schedule, fourth schedule, in which the rates are prescribed. And within the fourth schedule, there is a section 4 in which the rates of the tobacco products are mentioned. Now, with the levy of the cess is no longer there under the GST scheme of things, meaning the compensation cess is no longer going to be levied. There was a necessity to get back the excisable items back into the central government's Excise Act. Just to explain it a bit better, sir, when in 2017 GST was brought in order to give states the compensation which was agreed upon so that they will be able to have their income supplemented just in case it fell from a assured level. The central government had said that it shall, just as a token, collect very minuscule amount for those items which come under the central excise, such as tobacco products, and completely gave it to the GST to collect compensation cess because they were under the 28% rate, and over and above that, compensation cess was also being collected. Even at the point in time of introduction of GST in 2017, by law it was provided that this compensation will be given for the states for 5 full years. Now, at the end of the 5 full years, compensation cess was to come to a close. Now, even before the 5 full years could be completed, unfortunately, we had the COVID coming, and during that time, no revenue could be raised, but yet the compensation had to be given. So, it was decided that there would be a loan arrangement made in which the central government would arrange it and have it back-to-back given to the states, and that loan will also get paid back through the collection of the cess, compensation cess, meaning till 22 you would have to give them the compensation, give the states the compensation through the collection which comes from the compensation cess. After that, because during the period of 5 years itself we had to borrow money to pay this compensation cess, we had to extend compensation cess collection till March 26. Or if we were able to pay back all the loans and interest which we borrowed to pay the states the compensation during and immediately after the COVID period, if we are able to pay that back well before March 26, we will close collecting compensation cess. Now, in the last GST Council, this was discussed in detail, and as was agreed earlier also, the compensation cess collection will come to a stop, probably end of December. This was very clearly discussed, and now that the compensation cess comes to a close, the central government, which gave the items under the cess, such as the tobacco products, to the GST Council to raise revenues for compensation, naturally is got to be brought back. Let me assure here itself straight away that the tobacco products will still be taxed under the demerit category at 40% in the GST frame of things. They will still be taxed at 40%, but there will not be a compensation cess. But when it was under the compensation cess, like now till December 31st probably, they were under the highest rate available then, 28%, and over and above which a compensation cess was added. Together, some of the items in cigarette would have been at 53%, some were at 60%, some were at 72%, some were at even 88%. Now that the 28% has gone away from GST, all those demerit goods have gone to 40% tax. That's the structure in the GST. Now, therefore, the items cannot be taxed beyond 40%, even if they are demerit. But the incidence of tax on tobacco and tobacco-related products have therefore come down. You have no compensation cess. The highest rate that you have in GST is 40%. And as a result, it gives an impression that the government has allowed lesser tax on tobacco, and therefore it's going to become affordable. The intent is not that, sir. So within the GST scheme of things, it continues to be at the highest rate. But now that the compensation cess cannot be collected and we have to come back to excise, the Central Excise Act will now back again get the cigarette items, and retaining largely the incidence of tax, we are imposing the excise on these demerit goods. That's the sum and substance of the story behind why now excise is coming in. So, in general, I also want to highlight the fact, since the intent is not to tax tobacco and tobacco products lesser than what prevailed earlier, it's important for us and this august House to recognize the fact that during the GST period, tax on tobacco-related products, even with the cess being there, could not reach the benchmark which the WHO sets every year. Meaning, they have what is called as Tobacco Affordability Index of Tobacco Products. They have an index called Affordability Index of Tobacco Products. They monitor the rates which prevail all over the world and point out where the rate is well below the benchmark they set. And therefore, they say you're making tobacco affordable, meaning people are not being disincentivized from buying cigarette unless you keep it at a certain level. And there are several countries which keep changing the tobacco rate, linking it to inflation, and even otherwise, annually they keep changing the rate so that the rate is itself a disincentive so that people don't end up buying more cigarettes because now that it's become cheaper. And in that context, 80 countries revise tobacco taxes annually, as I said, linking to inflation and also looking at their periodic excise schedules. Australia increases tobacco's excise automatically by CPI plus an additional 12.5%. New Zealand does the same exercise plus 10%. Philippines, Turkey, South Africa, all of them also do an automatic escalating way of pricing tobacco products. EU member countries do 60% over and above the CPI on a weighted average basis, and many countries do exceed 70 to 75%. So what we need to do in India is to see if we are making tobacco affordable, which we don't want to. We want to make sure there is a deterrent, and therefore at the moment, India's total tax incidence on cigarette is approximately 53% of the retail price, which is substantially lower than the World Health Organization's recommended benchmark of 75% of the retail price. or it is even more than 75%. So, as I said, many countries impose over the CPI 80-85%, 75 to 80%, and so on. So, we want to keep that in mind, and therefore, the rate fixation has happened, keeping WHO's benchmark as well, and making sure that we don't make cigarettes affordable. But here, there's one element. I think one of the honourable members has spoken in brief about BD, but I want to highlight the fact, sir, that whilst doing this, even BD comes back to excise. But there is no change in tax incidence of BD. Considering the fact that the workers who roll BD come from a lower economic strata of our country, we had made sure that nothing goes to hurt the livelihood propositions but of the BD rollers, but equally continuing with very many schemes which will give them health awareness. I'll read that out a bit to highlight, sir. When I say there's no change in the tax incidence of BD, I just want to put it on the record here so that honourable members will appreciate. In the current regime, which will continue till the end of this month because of the compensation cess, which is the scheme of things since 2017 when GST was brought in, the GST rate, as I said, on BD is 28%. And there is this NCCD, which is a calamity-based collection that we do. For handmade BDs, for every 1,000 units, we charge 1 rupee. If it is a machine-made BD, then for every 1,000 units, we charge 2 rupees and not more. Together with that, as I said, basic excise duty continued as a token gesture even during the GST regime when the compensation cess was being collected. The Central Excise was kept at a very nominal rate. And how nominal is nominal? 5 paisa per 1,000 units. Not 5 rupees. 5 paisa per 1,000 units, which is man-made, and 10 paisa per 1,000 units if it is machine-made. So this is what prevails currently. Exactly what prevails now is what is going to prevail after excise comes into play. So the proposed regime will have BD at 18% as recommended by the 56th GST Council. That is why when the next generation GST was announced, a lot of people said, what have you done? GST BD rate was at 28. Over and above that, there was some cess. Now, minuscule cess. But over and above that, so 28% is the rate at which BD was and continues to be till 31st. But we had to move it along with very many items because 28 is not available anymore as a rate under GST. So every item moved to 18 unless it was a sin item which went to 40. Cigarettes went to 40. BD did not go to 40. It, on the contrary, moved to 18 because there was no more 28. So from 1st January or whenever this new thing comes into play, in GST it will be at 18. So a lot of people question saying you've reduced the price because you've reduced the tax on BD. But that is because we didn't have 28, so it went to 18. The NCCD portion continues to be the same as 1 rupee for every 1,000 BDs, handmade, and 2 rupee for every BD for 1,000 units if it is machine made. That continues as it is. And the basic excise duty, where it was 5 paisa per 1,000 and 10 paisa for per 1,000 machine made, will be at 10%. Together, the incidence on BD will be the same. It shall not worsen the situation or it shall not have a negative impact on BD rollers. That's an upfront statement I want to offer. So now I come to specific points which many members have raised. I want to address them. Pramod Tiwari ji, while speaking, apparently has said that the bill is silent on tobacco farmers. And what will happen to the workers who are working in the tobacco-related, in the tobacco cultivation and so on. And also he has observed that this is against devolution. I want to first correct this impression, sir. This is an excise duty. It's not a cess. We'll talk about cess tomorrow, day after, whenever it comes. But this is an excise duty. This excise duty, by the very nature of taxable pool, will join the taxable pool and it will be devolved per the Finance Commission's recommendation to the states. It is not against devolution. It joins the taxable pool. That is one thing. Second, sir, there are several schemes from the government to take care of tobacco farmers. Now, this scheme has been on since 2015-16. It's called Crop Diversification Program, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, and it runs in 10 states, major tobacco producing states, where farmers are encouraged to move from tobacco to other crops. I'll read out the states where this is happening: Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. In all these states, sir, has it had an impact? Yes, it has had an impact, because over 1.12 lakh acres of land has shifted from tobacco growing to other crops. And I'm talking about a period between 2017-18 to 21-22. So what are the crops to which they moved? Each state focused on its own area, but largely sugarcane, if it is an irrigated area, sugarcane, groundnut, oil palm, cotton, chili, maize, onion, pulses, and turmeric, if it is irrigated. If it's non-irrigated area, or if it is a state-specific subject, I'll read out the example of 3 states. Telangana tobacco growers moved to producing Bengal gram and chilies. Odisha, from tobacco, they moved to vegetable growing and maize. Karnataka, they moved from tobacco to soya bean and sugarcane. So, this move from tobacco growing is being encouraged, and 10 states have been given that attention through this program. As I said, more than 1.12 acres of land have moved from tobacco to other crops. Equally, are we giving any attention to BD workers? Sir, 49.82 lakh registered BD workers are there in this country. Now, for them, Labour Welfare Scheme under Ministry of Labour and Employment is implemented across the country through labour welfare organizations situated in 18 regions across the country, including welfare of the BD workers and their families. What are the specific schemes which are being given for BD workers? The healthcare facilities through 10 hospitals and 279 dispensaries, reimbursement expenditure for specialized treatment. Sometimes it is now covered under cashless, paperless, but reimbursement also happens when they go for cancer treatment, when they go for tuberculosis, if they go for any heart diseases, or even for kidney transplantation. So their reimbursement method works. Financial assistance is also given for education of children of BD workers from class 1 to college or university, and the amount given ranges from 1,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees per student per annum, depending upon the class in which the child is or the course that the child is doing. Other than this, subsidy of 1.50 lakh per beneficiary for construction of a Pakka house is given under the revised integrated housing scheme, which commenced from 2016. RHS has been converged with Pradhan Mantri Awas scheme. Other than this, of course, you have PM Shram Yogi Man Dhan, PMSYM, Suraksha Bima Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Jan Arogya Yojana, public distribution system happens, Gramin Kaushal Yojana, and also the Swanidhi, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, and so on. So all these schemes also aim at the BD workers. Pramod Tiwari again has mentioned that no mention of health and related expenditure is made here. I want to just highlight, sir, probably member Sagarika Ghosh also mentioned this. Health and wellness have been a key focus of our government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been very keen that in the last 11 years, I can read out the amount being spent on health. The last year of UPA government, 2013-14, 33,278 crores have been spent for health ministry's budget allocation. Whereas 25-26 this year, the BE, I'm comparing the BE with BE, 99,858 crores have been allotted, 3 times more. So, other than that, between 2014 and 2021-22, 14-15 and 21-22, government health expenditure as a percentage of GDP rose from 1.13% to 1.84%. Government health and expenditure is a share of overall government spending also increased from 3.94 to 6.12%. Between 2014 and 22, per capita health spending tripled from 1,108 rupees to 3,169 rupees. This is per capita, sir. Other than that, of course, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana gives protection for nearly 55 crore beneficiaries, 9 crore plus, over 9 crore hospital admissions have been entertained under that, resulting in 1.3 lakh crore or even slightly more worth of free treatments. So healthcare has taken a good priority in this government. More than 16,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras now present in almost all the districts of the country provide generic medicines at affordable prices, often 50 to 90% cheaper than the market rates. Then under the mission Indradhanush, 5.46 crore children and 1.32 crore pregnant women have been vaccinated against 12 diseases. This targeted initiative actually has contributed to a significant decline in the maternal mortality rate from 130 per lakh live births, that was in 2014 to 16, to 80 in 2020. So the last 11 years, sir, the government has approved or established several new aims across the country and in fact across several states, and set up also very many medical colleges, including the first ever AIIMS in the Northeast, located in Assam. MBBS seats have been increased to 1.18 lakh and 74,000 PG seats have also been added since 2014. So tobacco products are being sold near schools in Tamil Nadu. Was Sri Thambiduraiji, I can't see him here. He had observed it, but I need to say that there is an act from 2003, KOTPA, which is the Cigarette and Other Tobacco Products Act 2003. A provision has been made to prohibit the sale of tobacco products to an individual below 18 years, and this would apply to 100 yards around a school that it cannot be sold. Guidelines of the Tobacco-Free Education Institutions guidelines were also issued in 2019. So I would want to highlight to Honourable Member Thambidurai that GOI, Government of India, conducts tobacco-free youth campaign every year since 2023. Maybe greater awareness is required in Tamil Nadu. Sri Shivadasanji had raised this thing about lottery. I'm not sure I should be answering this here because this bill has nothing to do with the lottery system, sir, but he has raised it. I just want to highlight the fact, sir, that the 56th meeting of the GST Council, which was held this year on 3rd September, when the new generation GST decisions were made, which is much welcomed by everybody. The GST at that time had recommended, the Council had recommended, increasing the GST rate on supply of lottery tickets from 28% to 40%. As I said, 28 doesn't exist anymore. Lottery cannot go to 18, so it went to 40. But, of course, a delegation came and met me saying from Kerala, no, this will affect, because a lot of people who are selling these tickets are poor people and so on. So this decision of the GST Council was unanimous. In Kerala, sir, the lottery is run by the state government. The supply happens within the state, and therefore there is no IGST also involved. It's all entirely state governments. And the SGST collected entirely is retained by the state. And 50% of the GST collected will go to the 41% will go from the CGST proceeding to the state. Now, it's a very considerate and very, humanitarian touch that these people will suffer. But the tax is on the state government. It's not on those people. And the state government gets the revenue. I'm sure the state government will be broad-minded enough to please give something to the people now that everything is coming down and take care of their own citizens, because that is something which is well within the state government's limit. Sir, the other most important point which I wanted to, there are a few more replies that I have to give, sir. Sri Girirajan, I'm not sure he's here now. So he said middle class is unhappy, there is high inflation, salaried class is being penalized. So this is an excise duty, tax is being imposed on cigarette smoking. I am not sure how I'll be able to answer that. Sir, and also, inflation is high. So inflation, CPI is below 3%. Below 3%. And in the last 6 months, it has remained well before the tolerance limit which is given under the FRBM. So even now, if I have to answer on high inflation, it's a bit difficult. We can always reserve it for the day when really inflation is much higher than the forbearance limit. And Honourable Member Arun Singh ji has spoken elaborately about the GST next generation. So the GST cuts have actually benefited people on their daily use items. I've been going, wherever I go to the local shops and ask them, are customers coming, are they buying, are they asking questions about how much the rate has come down on that particular commodity that they want to buy, or you are helping them to understand. Everywhere I'm getting reports that yes, the rates have come down. So I just want to, in fact, the last visit was in your town, sir. Not so much Tirupur, but in Coimbatore. And the grocery shop, people do tell me that people are. In fact, I went to the grocery shop owner's house because he said, not just my shop, please come home. There he had assembled a group of people from that neighborhood. One small family, sir, said my monthly grocery bill used to be something like 4,280. Now it's actually come down to 3,100 rupees. And they were actually happy. There are, you please go check it up with the people who I met. I'm not lying here. All right. Sorry? Are you saying I'm lying? I'll give you the address of the people. Please go visit them. In Coimbatore, sir, your own state. So, sir, there is a very clear message that the rates are coming down. So in this debate of excise, where I'm going to impose the excise duty on cigarette smoking, suddenly if I have to answer these issues, I thank actually Shri Arun Singh ji, who's spoken on detail about it. Sir, again, the issues raised by Honourable Member Sagarika Ghosh pertain to the Manrega, very valid, very relevant, very sensitive, important for West Bengal. We've answered this several times. Now I'm answering on excise, but the issue has been raised. So I will answer it, sir, just as I've answered a member from Tamil Nadu. Sir, as per the Manrega Act 2005, it is the responsibility of the state government to ensure transparency and accountability in the implementation of the scheme. Based on central team's inspection reports highlighting implementation issues, the Ministry of Rural Development had sent several communications to the state saying, please do the rectification. I'm told there's still some rectification pending. Consequently, the funds were stopped since March 2022 under Section 27 of the Act due to non-compliance with the central government's directives. The latest action taken report, sir, dated 11th July 2025 this year, the West Bengal state has reported completion of recoveries of 4.81 crores identified by the central teams in 4 districts, which means the central team pointed out something, after which the correction and rectification work is started. They've collected 4.81 crores from 4 districts, along with the status of the disciplinary action initiated in this regard. This itself, I think, is an admission that things were misused. All right, sir, of Manrega. Subsequently,
No. You got your own opportunity to speak now. Minister
You're
is
not interested in the reply. After my giving the reply, you raise more issues.
No.
After
Nothing will
reply.
go on record except minister's reply.
Sir, ministry, subsequently, thank you, sir. Please do listen to the reply, and then you may permit them to ask more questions if you want, sir. Subsequently, the Ministry of Rural Development, again a letter on 11th November 2025, requested the state government to furnish a comprehensive action taken report with regard to the total districts of the state, along with the details of financial recoveries made, disciplinary proceedings which have been taken, criminal action, and all other corrective measures undertaken by the state. Sir, between 2006-7 to 2013-14, the central funds which were released to West Bengal under Manrega stood at 14,985 crores, 2006-7 to 13-14. Now, between 2014-15 to 21-22, comparable number of years, our government has released 54,416 crores, which represents a 261% increase in Manrega alone. 14,985 compared with 54,416. 261% increase, irrespective of the fact that we are still asking them for taking action where things have been pointed out as not right. So the commitment of the central government as regards Manrega beneficiaries in the state of West Bengal is absolutely there, and we expect that this transparency with which we want to handle it will continue. Now, further, the honourable member has said Central Road and Infrastructure Fund is not being transferred. I want to just highlight, sir. 24-25 RE, 25-26B, the government has so far transferred 13.25 lakh crores since 2002 to 2003. 2002-2003 down to 2025-26. 13.25 lakh crores has been transferred under this head, Central Road and Infrastructure Fund. How much was collected, sir? Because it's a cess? No, it's a fund collected. 12.62 lakh crores were collected in the same period. Collection is 12.62 lakh crores. What went as under this head to Bengal is 13.25 lakh crores. No, total. Total.
No. She is not yielding. You please, please, my dear.
Total and collection.
No, you will get your chance when you are speaking. It is for the minister to reply now.
I'll finish, sir. I'll finish and then you can.
Yes. By dear. You understand.
Sir, I'm talking to you only, sir. Further question was raised.
Nay.
Oil industry.
No sound from this side. No cross talking. No. You please sit down. Let her complete her reply. Please.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. I want the other point which was raised by the honourable member was Oil Industry Development Fund, OIDF, has not been transferred for appropriate usage. I want to say, sir, an action taken note was conveyed to the PAC, Public Accounts Committee, that since the government has been financing various activities under the budget,
nothing will go on record except the minister's reply.
An action taken note was conveyed to the Public Accounts Committee that since the government has been financing various activities from the budget which qualify as development of oil industry within the purview of the Oil Industry Development Act of 1974, and in view of the emergent situation of energy security, such expenditure is likely to increase in the near future. It was therefore further stated that these activities have been financed through the resources of the GOI, of which cess under the Act is a part. But to avoid further confusion, government has decided to constitute Oil Industry Development Fund as per the provision in Section 18 of the Oil Industry Development Act of 1974. The fund has been created in public account of India and has been operationalized from 24-25, financial year 24-25. An amount of 17,730 crore and 19,376 crore was provided for transfer to the OIDF, which is the Oil Industry Development Fund, in the RE of 2024-25 and in BE of 25-26 respectively. So on the Oil Industry Development Fund, I've given you what has happened and how much fund has been transferred. The fund creation also to enable specific oil development activities to be funded from the fund rather than from the budget. So that has been explained, sir. So next, also from Honorable Member Sagarika Ghosh, is don't neglect West Bengal. So I want to say, sir, don't neglect is not necessary at all. I'll tell you the kind of things we've done for West Bengal. Sir, West Bengal has never been... No, they don't want to hear this.
No. Madam, this is not correct. What is it?
She said you can ask after.
No, I am not saying anything. You please sit down. You have elaborately you talked on this bill. You please be seated. Let the minister continue her reply.
Sir, West Bengal has never been...
Nothing will go on record except the minister's reply, please.
Sir, West Bengal has never been ignored by this government. In fact, it is Trinamool Congress which is hurting the growth of the people of West Bengal. I repeat this. It is in fact the Trinamool Congress which is hurting the growth of West Bengal. Sir, I'll give you a classic example for that. West Bengal withdrew from Ayushman Bharat scheme in January 2019. Is that good for Bengal? Industries are leaving West Bengal. Only recently, I answered a question to one of the Honorable Member of Parliament about the number of industries which have left West Bengal. In fact, off the cuff, I can even tell you, sir, subject to correction, 1947, when India got its independence, the contribution of West Bengal for industry in the country's GDP was somewhere in the range of 27%, subject to correction. I can get you the papers. But today it has come down to minimum 3%, sir. Is that West Bengal government? Sir, industries are leaving West Bengal. I've answered a member of parliament's question. I wish I can get that copy so that I can read the exact numbers. I wish my people in the gallery can give me the letter so that I'll present it to the table office here.
You need not answer to them so elaborately. You please
people are suffering.
Go back to
Sir,
your...
people are suffering from
this is not correct. When she was speaking, when she was speaking, she was not disturbed by anyone. Don't do this. This is becoming your habit. That is not good.
Sir,
nothing will go on record except minister's reply.
Sir, I will give you data. Equally, I'll give you my personal example, sir. In my family, there's a member who lives in Kolkata. They wanted to just whitewash their house and paint the doors. They got the paints. They wanted to do it. There were people who came to the house.
Minister, kindly be specific. No need to answer to all their observations. You please address to me.
I'm talking to you, sir. Sir, 5.94 lakh crores has been given under tax devolution since 2014. Till now, 4.4 times increase versus 1.34 lakh crores given during 2004 to 14. 2004 to 14, sir, 1.34 lakhs. Now, since 2014, 5.94 lakhs have gone to Bengal under tax devolution. So, comparison देखिए sir. Then, Finance Commission did not tell us to give SASCI funds, which is given for 50 years, interest free. 24,000 crore has gone to Bengal under SASCI, sir. Not under Finance Commission recommendation. Prime Minister Modi's desire was recovery after COVID should be good. So, Bengal received 24,000 crores.
When the minister is replying,
11 medical colleges have been opened in West Bengal, sponsored by centrally sponsored scheme. That is our scheme. 11 medical colleges. Railways, under the NDA government, West Bengal received a record budgetary allocation of 13,955 crore for railway projects in the year 25-26 alone. Just 1 year. It is over 3 times the average outlay of 4,380 crore during 13,000 sir, which is over 3 times the average outlay of 4,380 crore during 2009-14, sir. I told you, sir, about the number of companies which have left West Bengal. I give you the data, I will authenticate it, I have no problems. From 1st April 2011 to 2025, 30th September, 448 listed companies have left Bengal. 6,447 companies, unlisted companies, have left Bengal.
Madam, I think we can stick to the Central Excise Amendment Bill alone.
This is a data that I'm giving.
Honorable Minister, I think you can now stick to the Central Excise Amendment Bill, please. You understood me
Yes,
and
sir.
control.
Other than that, sir, 101 Amrit railway stations, sir. 101 Amrit stations at 3,847 crores are being developed. 1,650 kilometers have been electrified. 98% have been electrified in the entire Bengal. 2,000 kilometers, 2,300 kilometers of national highway constructed in Bengal since 2014. Sir, other than this, Bagdogra Airport development in Siliguri at an estimated cost of 1,490.
Honorable Minister, you please reply only regarding the Central Excise Amendment Bill. Please
conclude. Any further, sir?
Yes, please.
So the excise
conclude.
bill
Yes.
will have to be considered by this honest August House and passed. Thank you very much.
The question is that